Welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. I'm going to kick this one off with a little bit of a story time. This is a really fun way of connecting and making a deal, but also making a new friend. Recently on eBay, there was an item that I submitted a best offer on, and it was accepted. And seller was very responsive. It was a fair asking price, and I tossed in what I think was a respectful and reasonable offer, and he accepted it. Um, Transaction moving just fine, and it was a piece that was, there's not 20 of them on eBay. I'll say that it wasn't like a one of one, but it was a pretty tough piece, and it's currently out to be inspected. So landed that one and thought, this seller seems reasonable. It seems like he's got some cool stuff. Let me click and see what all he's got. And as I was clicking through, I was like, geez, there's some other cool pieces out there. There's one in particular that really caught my eye. So I flagged that, and it's funny. People will say, you post your videos at different times. I do pre-record them, but as I'm recording this, it's 4:30 local time, so I'm up early, which is one reason also I'm probably somewhat quiet. I'm up when the family's sleeping. So I don't know how many of you guys do that. I know some of you guys are night owls, some of you guys are morning folks, but um, that's a component of it. So sometimes I'll submit an offer at 3:45 a.m. or if I'm randomly up at 12:15. Um, just crazy times. So I don't expect people to respond necessarily within 15 minutes. We're not going to negotiate and get this thing done. So I tossed an offer in. Card was rare enough. I think there was two or three of them posted, which is crazy because there's so few of them. And I was watching it. I was looking at the other comps. I was looking at the population. And again, it's one of those cards like I kind of had the feeling either I get this one or I just don't get it. So my offer was, dozens of dollars under. It wasn't like I was saying I want $300 off or something. So after a couple hours, they just said, you know what, I'm just gonna buy the darn thing. Um, it's not a bad deal at all. The ask was initially reasonable, and it's almost like you get into the bidding war against yourself. So it's like we're in free agency with baseball. I mean, all I have to do is call back and make someone else is interested. Like, all right, 2 more years and 40 million more. Like you kind of sometimes you negotiate against yourself because you want that item and the price is already fair. You're not going to overpay. You hope for a good deal, but definitely reasonable is okay too. And so go ahead and do that. So that's kind of like on the books. It's pending. Uh, have the seller actually reach out. So I guess he tried to email. He had my information, kind of tracked me down. Um, Found the YouTube channel, which is super neat too. It's another like side benefit of making these fun little videos and get to know people is now you're out there, and if people want to track you down and uh, maybe either add to your collection or talk shop or whatever, it's a nice little side benefit. But he sent an email. Actually, ended up calling my business, which is cool. So tracked me down through like Facebook, through everything else, saw like communities I was in. So nice thing is he got to see some of the videos. He got to see an idea of who I am as a person, a collector, my style, what I'm into, probably why I'm picking the cards I was from him, and called the office. And I actually got an email from my office saying like this really nice guy called about a card you tried to buy, and I was like, what the heck's that? What I do? Um, so I got the message, and I was like, oh, it's interesting. So I called him and we ended up having a half an hour conversation. I mean, you talk about like a friend you were just waiting to meet. His collecting style is probably 98% the same interest. Sometimes we kind of divert. Maybe he goes a little more memorabilia. I go a little more like traditional card, which it's really fun for me to meet somebody when I say I'm more traditional because that means they're really into some cool, crazy, um, neat items that kind of stretch my brain and push me to a different limit. So all that is to say that once we connected, we basically canceled the transaction, which I'm hoping eBay never watches this. um, Went ahead. He's like, I can do. I was trying to get a hold of you to get this deal done without having to go through the eBay process because obviously seller saves when it's no eBay fee and buyer saves by no sending off and we can mutually benefit by the better price. Um, and he said, I have some other stuff if you're interested. And those are magic words, of course. So of course I'm interested. Who wouldn't be? Seeing the two items I've seen and maybe some other stuff online. I can't remember if I saw other things, but he's like, let me send some pictures over. And so he did. And we went back and forth. I basically just went through and downloaded the picture, circled what I liked, and said, what about this? And a few of me said, like, no, 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 that was way too hard to get. I'm keeping that. And other things, he's like, sure, let's work up a price, work up a deal. So I was able to negotiate what turned into an original purchase and a second purchase turned into an original purchase and a 7 item pickup. His collection is really, really cool. Um, and again, just like new friend, just, when we talk, it's, um, I might just call him again soon just to chat, just because it's interesting to see his journey of how he even finds things and what all he has. Maybe if he's feeling, uh, you know, little uh, extra extroverted, maybe we can get him onto a video or something like that and share some of the journey and experience. But talk about a cool backstory as to how you came up with some different cards. Um, it always feels anticlimactic when you're like, I was searching on eBay and it came up, and so I put a bid in and I won it. Like that's like wow. These will actually have some lifelong texture. So when they were delivered, there was a very kind message with it. A sweet gift for my three girls. We're now Facebook friends. Like I said, it's kind of whole 9 yards. Like this is went from being a two-card transaction to a new friend and several pickups. So um, I just want to share that. Like be open to that in the hobby along the journey. You never know who you're going to find and who has the same mentality as you. So sorry, we're 7.5 minutes in. I haven't even shared. So I'll do my best to get through these seven pickups in the next 10 minutes or so and keep it to a reasonable time. But I just thought the story, the journey of it all was so unique and so fun that I just wanted to share. So here's the card I initially um, bought as my second purchase, and like I said, it's a pop. I think 15. I think PSA has seen 13. SGC has seen two. There's probably some ungradeds out there, but it's one of those items like I don't know that I had seen it, and then once it popped up on his page, there's a couple more out there, but they're in my eyes super salty and unrealistic in what they're asking. But this one was very realistic and very cool. So that is what that looks like. For an idea of what it is, I always try and zoom in on the flip just to be able to describe it easier. But 1957 Cincinnati Reds. So it's a team issue postcard. 1957 would be a rookie. So, Frankie Robinson. And, I mean, in terms of grade, SGC's seen two. This is the highest. PSE, PSA, PSE. Um, There's the back. It is a real postcard. PSA has seen 13, and then most of them are, 4, 5, 6 range. So 6 is a very, very strong grade on that. And I always like seeing when there's a low enough population, when there's like 13 or 40 or something like that. Say like, all right, well, -1 because I've got mine now. So that one's going nowhere. So absolutely love that. Frank Robinson, definitely underrated. Next up was one that was in the pictures, and based on what he was saying, I wasn't sure he was going to let this go. It looks like he's got a pretty good collection of this player. So I was pretty excited that I was able to acquire that thing from him as well. So a 1937 O-Pee-Chee Jimmy Fox. It's in a perfect grade 2 for me. This is a cool set. There's Greenberg would probably still be on my list as maybe the only other monster in the set that I haven't been able to acquire. These are super cool because the back is a legit back as well, even though it is a like pop out type card. The back is very, very traditional. So Fox, I've got Appling and Grove and Bill Dickey and Hornsby. I've got a pretty nice little run of these, but Fox is again he's like in that next tier. Him and Hank Aaron are probably the two that I should add to my yeah I collect them pretty thoroughly list. So I did like a top 12 guys I collect, and realistically I probably should just make it top 14 and maybe a couple others too. Um, but as a I guess maybe I'm defining myself properly, but as a player collector, um, there's a lot of players that I find interesting. So Jimmy Fox, like I just said, he had a really impressive Jimmy Fox collection. His display, the way he had everything displayed, was really really neat. And so when he sent pictures, he just said, let me know what you think's interesting, and if I'm willing to let it go, we'll talk about it. This was another one. You've seen some of my videos. You know I really enjoy these like Wheaties. Um, Oversized is my jam. Absolutely love it. So it's a cereal box cutout. What's funny with this one is the back. When you see the back, it's got all kinds of imperfections. It's creased up, and I mean I suppose that shows through to the front. But in terms of presentation, that's fantastic. In terms of image, amazing. I love this thing. So um, and I love the fact it's not slabbed. He actually put these really cool stickers on it and labeled it. So talk about like best practices when you have ungraded cool items that people would probably look at and say, "What the heck's that?" No longer part of the conversation. They look at it and say, "Oh, it's 1935 Wheaties. That's cool." That border with having it look like a piece of art is just amazing. Wheaties, and again, guys I collect, also able to pick this up. So 1937 Wheaties, Lefty Grove. So cool thing too. Go really, really close on that. I love the write-ups of these. They give a little bit of stats. I mean, it really is just like a ginormous baseball card, but the image is just so great. I love these. So Wheaties are always a win. And I mean, in this deal, we kind of negotiated everything together, but just for anybody looking, I mean, those can be anywhere from, 50's a really good deal to $100 is fair. And if they're really clean and nice and um, encased and whatever else. Maybe they could be a little bit higher than that, but they're not crazy expensive for as oversized, as cool, as unique. Um, I think you don't really do much better than a Wheaties cut out from the 30s. Another cool one from the 30s. Check out that thing. I've only got one, and I had no baseball. So it's another guy. He's probably in that next tier of people I collect. Who's really one of the first ones I collected. Um, 39 Carl Hubble was a card that was always on my list. The 40, I think, was one of the earlier ones I picked up. I've had his Diamond Stars and his Gaudies, I mean, for 15, 20 years, which puts me into a uh, much more limited collecting era of my life. So I really collected him pretty well. So 37 Dixie lids, Carl Hubble, this thing's in really, really nice condition. The holes are not due to damage. That's as they are commonly found. So it's actually really clean. The backs of these super neat because you get this huge write up and four more images. So some of those are pretty common images of King Carl, but um, a cool piece. And again, when you display these like on a shelf behind me, you'll see King Carl sitting there. That's awesome. So absolutely love that. Two more. Can't decide what's the grand finale. They're both like so amazingly exotically cool. I guess I'll go with this one. And this one I'm going to ask for help. I've done some research. Even buying and selling process, neither one of us really had enough of a history of what this thing is. So I guess my friend would know what he paid, but wouldn't necessarily know what it's worth today. And there's not enough movement of this item. I can't find movement of this item. So uh, the image is typically classic. You're back to Jimmy Fox. This is a 1936 Spencer shoes. That image is so ridiculously great. So, think 40 play ball, 41 play ball. Um, I mean, you talk about who Jimmy Fox was. And it's funny because he seems like one of those just perfectly complicated players of the day. He had some vices, he had some issues on his daily habits, but also a really kind, generous person. Um, really was a very short career. And when you look at his career and look at his career numbers, you're like, oh my gosh, how do you how do you possibly do that? And not play till you're 44. Like he played till he was in his mid 30s. Um, just phenomenal. So uh, they always said when he hit the ball, it was a different sound. You could close your eyes and just know who was in the cage or who was up to bat when you heard the sound of the ball and bat connecting made. It was a different level of a crack. Um, but I mean, take a look at that image. To me, that's just so phenomenal. But 36 Spencer shoes. There's pins and there's premiums. These are the premiums. And I mean, I'm at a loss for what this would be valued at. We included it, I think, at a very reasonable price. I'm thrilled he was willing to let that one go. Again, it's nearly impossible to put a real exact number on what that's worth. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's going to stay with me for the next many, many decades. Um, but cool story, um, cool item, cool image, and a great player. Last one, um, not surprising. When I saw this on the wall, he had two items that were similar looking. This is the smaller, so we need to double back and ask him about the bigger one and see what the story there is. I don't know if it was one or the other, maybe to get rid of, but um, this thing's amazing. I just picked up the actual card, and it's the same image as the card. This is a postcard. So I saw that on the wall, and it looks just like the 1959 Yogi Berra Yoo-Hoo. So same image, him sitting in his locker, drinking a Yoo-Hoo, and the writing on it actually, B for Yoo-Hoo, Yogi Berra. Uh, Fantastic item. When you see this thing in person and up close, and another part of the trust factor, when I said, "What about this?" He took it down off his out of the shelf or off the wall or wherever it was displayed, and took half a dozen pictures of all of them from different angles, front and back. Zoomed in on all the corners, made sure I knew what it was. This one's actually got a lot of creasing, it looks like. But from right here, phenomenal, right? Fantastic looking card. It's all that matters. And again, I don't think this item is not for sale currently anywhere. So in itself, this is a pretty rare item. What surprised me on this one and why I kept this one for last was included with it was this authentication thing. I'm like, what's that for? Let me flip it over. It's got a Yogi signature on it. So I might have half a dozen Yogi signatures. Yogi's in my top 12. Like I said, maybe I'm going top 14, 15, top 20 guys I collect. I don't know. So maybe I'm a player collector with ADD. I'm not sure where my diagnosis would go exactly, but Yogi's inner circle of people. He's one that I will, spend up to get the rare exotic items. This one to me is just fantastic, and it's such a cool story. Not only on um, just meeting and transacting, but again, I think it'll be someone I can hopefully through the years have a regular recurring uh, conversation with and message, and also, maybe there will be some more pickups along the way. So just thrilled. Wanted to share this. Sorry, it's a little bit of a longer video, and a lot of it is just me sharing the story. I know sometimes folks will click in, and if they don't see cards in the first 30 seconds, they're out. So if you've stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. But to me, that's part of what the hobby's about. It's the journey, it's the backstory, it's the how this come to happen. Uh, I think that adds some texture, some depth, and some value beyond dollars and cents when it comes to the hobby. So just wanted to share. Thanks again to my brand new friend. Um, Amazing. I'm hoping that he'll get to watch this the same day I release it because he's now part of my community and part of my friend circle. So super privileged. Hopefully those pickups are fun. If you know anything about the Spencer Shoes card or item, I guess I call things items more than cards, but being so oversized and definitely not a card, it's an item. I'd appreciate any insights and help on that. But yeah, that's what I got. And super good day. Hope everyone else is having a good day and enjoy the hobby. See y'all soon. Bye.